Hey besties, welcome back to Tea and Takes with Simi. I hope you're having a lovely week. I hope you're having a lovely month. I hope your day is going great. And if it isn't, I will pray and hope that it begins to turn around right away. Today, I want us to sit with a thought. So, the tea is, I was thinking about the fact that, despite the fact that for a great proportion of my adult life, I have been unpartnered. And I have had a lot of people ask me about the subject of loneliness, especially because people typically assume that when you're unpartnered, you're lonely. And also because I also, live alone and also do not have a preference for even going out. So it's very unusual to people how, even when they want to spend time with me, they have to almost drag me out of my house. So I thought to speak on that concept. I was thinking about the fact that as someone who stays on my own most of the time, I'm not the most friend person, and I'm also not partnered a lot of the time. I hardly feel lonely. In fact, I can't remember feeling lonely at any time that I've been unpartnered. The feeling of loneliness has actually only occurred to me whenever I'm around people, whether physically around people or sometimes when I have been in relationships. And so I think I want to explore that this evening. I think that it's a feeling. The feeling of loneliness is what a lot of people sort of wrestle with quietly. I think that people don't want to admit it, that sometimes the people who were supposed to be quote-unquote companions to you actually make you feel more on your own or alone than more lonely. Okay, yeah, because I think that's the beginning of the distinction, is that being alone is not synonymous to being lonely. Loneliness is like that feeling of like bereftness, like your heart is sort of aching, like you feel sort of sad. Alone is just like would I say verb or something? It's just the act of not being with anybody physically. Yeah, so I think I would set that distinction from now. I think that it might sound backward to say that companionship sometimes doesn't automatically equal connection. So meaning that the fact that you're around someone doesn't automatically mean that you feel connected with the person. Because the truth is that it's not every presence that feels like presence. It's not every time that you're around people that you feel that sense of companionship. So think about it. You might be in a room with either a loved one or a friend or a lover or a boyfriend, a husband, whatever. And if they are glued to their phone, maybe you're talking about something heavy. You're trying to let them know about the hard day you had, or you're even trying to tell them something happy, a joke or something. And yes, they might be physically there. In fact, they might be glued to you 24/7 and not like letting you go anywhere. But if it feels like you're talking to a wall, even though you're with them 24/7, that feeling is lonely. So you have a feeling that is lonely more than the person who probably doesn't have anyone physically with them. But maybe even if they wanted to giggle, let's say it was a happy incident that happened. Okay, so let's just assume something funny. You just saw something funny, I don't know, on your phone or social media. If you're with yourself, because you don't have the expectation that someone is there, you will just laugh alone, right? But if you have the expectation that someone is there and you try to sort of show them the thing and get them to laugh with you, and they just like roll their eyes, or they just like ignore you like you do not even exist there, even if they stay physically there for the next couple of hours, if you do that consistently, if you try to show them, I don't know, 20 videos and they just like roll their eyes, or it just looks like you're talking to a wall, you will feel lonely. Whereas the person who is alone but just like laughs on their own when they see the thing, because you don't have the expectation that there's someone there to sort of share in that moment, will not feel as alone. So yeah, I think that this is my concept of it. I think that love at its core is taking all the love is like an exchange where the love that you're supposed to have for yourself, that doesn't make you feel alone when you are on, that doesn't make you feel lonely when you are alone. All of that love, whenever you're in a partnership or you're around people you expect to give you companionship, I feel like, let's say that love has, it's not like let's say, it does, the love does has a, like there's a limit to the love you have to give in total. So let's say that love is 100%. The way I think about it is, if you are alone, that's like you're on your own, you're the only one existing around yourself, whether you are alone physically or you're not partnered for whatever reason. You give that 100% love to yourself. But whenever you are partnered, the way it works is that you give a lot of that love to your partner or your friend, whoever it is that is supposed to sort of be a companion to you. And the expectation is that that other person also gives a huge part of their own 100% to you. That way, both parties feel like their cup is full. However, if that exchange is lopsided, where you are giving like your 80% or something to that person, and they are giving you nothing, let's say the remaining 20% you have, because you're like, this doesn't make sense, so you're trying harder, you give them the 20%. Guess what? Now you have nothing. You have zero. You're depleted. And that is where I think the feeling of loneliness comes in. I think that's how loneliness grows, inside a relationship. It's from the feeling of being starved, where you have given all you could have given yourself to the other person, and the other person, on the other hand, doesn't give back. I think that's what it is. And I think that maybe a good name for this would be nonchalance. I think that being with a nonchalant person, it feels like it's like a slow fade. It's not dramatic. Little by little, day by day, small by small, it's like it chips up at you until like it shows up in little ways. Maybe you're upset and they brush off the feeling of you being upset by either ignoring you or claiming that you're overthinking. They're never on your side. Whenever you text them, having like a vulnerable moment where they're supposed to support you, they reply like hours later, and maybe it's just a one-worded reply. Maybe they just like all your long vulnerable text, they just like, I don't know, put a thumbs up or something. They don't ask about your day. They do not celebrate your wins. When they're physically present, when you're talking to them, you can tell that they're not listening. They act exasperated. I think that all of these moments, even if it looks small, it adds up to just make you begin to sort of doubt yourself and feel like a shadow of yourself. And before you know it, your joy shrinks, your smile fades, your confidence leaves, your self-esteem is down in the gutter. So I think that around this, I would sort of just give tips on how to choose better, because if I'm being honest, in years and years and years, I haven't felt lonely. And I would say it's because I learned some of these tips on choosing better, both friends, both partners, so that I do not feel lonely. I think that I learned to be consistency over intensity, because people who would turn out to be this way would usually start with like grand gestures. So they know how to do in the boom way, like one grand thing at a time. But typically, where you feel loneliness is not caused by the person not doing grand things. It's typically caused by consistent everyday things that the person is unable to do. So meaning that the person can. So most of the time, the type of people that will make you feel lonely know how to show up once in a month or once in a this thing and do something grand and whatever. But when it comes to showing up in the day-to-day life, they're inconsistent. I think that I decided to choose consistency over intensity or love bombing and things like that. I also just observe that when I speak, does this person listen? When I tell them something, do they adjust? Do they like count my words? And it can be something small. If I tell you that I like to be called, do you call me? If I tell you that, like, it's just in the little things when I speak, do you count my words as something important and do you listen? I think that I also just look for shared values. There might be chemistry that's like boom, boom, boom. But like, do we have values that actually are similar? Do you think that it is important to be kind to people? Because I think that if you're really kind, you wouldn't be trying to make someone feel lonely. Do you think that it's important to be there for someone emotionally? Do you have empathy? Things like that. I also just check my energy level when I'm done interacting with them. If I'm done interacting with you, I just sort of do an audit. Do I feel drained or do I feel filled? Yeah. I think that some people are already in that shoe. They're already in a relationship, even marriage, with someone who seems nonchalant. Some people are in friendships or even have parents who are seemingly nonchalant. And I think that that's very hard, because even if you know all of these tips, you kind of feel almost stuck. I think that, as I said, I think 2 episodes ago about not gaslighting yourself, I think this is one of those moments. Do not gaslight yourself. Admit it, that this is what you're feeling. This person makes me feel lonely and does not fill my cup. I would practically be better off being on my own. Name it. Tell them, like, name it to yourself, like, okay, I need for my cup to be filled. I need more than just this person being in the same room with me. I need their presence. I need them to sort of be attentive, not just be in close proximity. And if nothing changes, I think that you need to sharp pick yourself somewhere, one way or another. I don't know if this is, I know this is controversial, but I'm a big believer in sort of detaching. Not detaching to punish or this thing, detaching sort of to pick yourself. Detaching to basically not have an expectation, especially if you're in something like a marriage where you can't leave or something. Sort of just pick yourself, because as I said, we have like 100% love to give. If you think that you're giving someone 100% of your love, and part of the contract of what love is, they aren't giving you back, I think that it is wisdom to withhold that love back, like collect it back, collect the 100% you've given them, collect it back and keep it for yourself. Yeah, you can't keep giving to someone else. You are very important as well. I think that it's not easy. I'm not going to speak of this as if it's the easiest thing in the world to do. It's not ideal. Nobody wants to be in this situation. But if you're in it, like, just make the best of it. Pick yourself. Start giving your 100% to yourself and stop expecting. If you used to show them a funny video and they just like roll their eyes or something, then don't show them anymore. Like, act like you're on your own and give that love back to yourself. I think that let's not think about this only in romantic relationships. Let's remember that, like, even in family, amidst friends, this could also show up. And still, do not gaslight yourself. And there's no one rule. Me as a friend, for example, I don't really need people to overly check on me. I'm a friend that like actually almost craves that. I need that. I don't want to call it distance because it's not distance, but I need. Like, I don't like. I don't thrive in the enmeshment type friendships. I thrive in the long distance. We speak a little bit, we take a break. Yeah, I thrive in that. So, but it doesn't mean that that's how another person has to be. So, for example, if someone who is more the enmeshment type of like, let's talk every second type friend, wants to be friends with me, or we find ourselves in a friendship, it's okay for that person to tell me like, you make me feel lonely, because the way I love is similarly different from how you love. So, this is how I would like to be loved, and it's my responsibility as somebody who I am giving them my own 80% of my love, right, in the way I think is ideal for me. But if they're letting me know that the way I am giving them love back is making them feel lonely, and I want them in my life, it's my responsibility to sort of adjust to them. And there are people in my life that I do that for. I have friends that it's just once in a while we speak and we love it. It's very ideal. And I have friends that, because I know that the way they love is more everyday-ish, I attune to that because I don't want them to feel lonely. So at the end of the day, connection has to be mutual. What are we taking from tea and takes today? I think I just want you to remember that being alone does not automatically mean being lonely. I think I didn't speak on that enough. As a single person, don't cast loneliness upon yourself. Don't automate or make alone, being alone synonymous to being lonely. If for whatever reason you're in this time in your life where you have to be alone, it might be with friendships. Sometimes God is even just pruning people out of your life because you're going to maybe a different level. For whatever reason, if you find yourself alone, don't automatically name the aloneness loneliness. It's not automatically the same. Fill your own cup. Remember that love is about pouring, it's about giving and receiving, and that receiving part is crucial. Like, if you are not receiving, take back that love and pour it into your own self. Don't forget that there's peace in solitude. So if you're not trapped yet, if someone is not, if it feels more chaotic being with someone than it feels being apart from them, remember that solitude is peace, and take your peace. Thank you so much if you've listened thus far. I love you so much. Have a wonderful day and week. I love you. Till we meet again, drop a comment, share, and subscribe. Follow so you know when I drop the next episode. Toodles, till next time.